The Sterling Seminary horror didn't begin in 1892. Its roots dig far deeper into the swirling chaos of 17th century Europe, a time when power was forged in secret societies and blood oaths. Behind the scenes, a cabal of scholars, mystics, and occult financiers sought a way to harness not just physical might, but the very essence of human will. They believed that true dominion lay in mastering the mind's architecture, its fears, desires, and blind spots. One such group, known as the Order of the Black Sigil, traced their lineage to alchemists who practiced forbidden rites beneath the cathedrals of Paris and Rome. Their goal was no less than to create a perfect agent of control, someone who could blend divine authority with unwavering obedience. When the founders of Sterling Seminary arrived in New England, they brought with them this dark legacy. Their true mission wasn't to educate young men in theology, but to continue the work of the Black Sigil, implanting psychological chains that would outlast any physical prison. What makes this truly chilling is that the Black Sigil still exists. In shadowed halls and whispered meetings, they've evolved, but their methods remain the same: to fracture the individual, erase the self, and forge loyalty to an unseen master. And so, Sterling Seminary was their crucible, a place where centuries-old knowledge met modern science, where ancient sigils were mapped onto neural pathways, where faith was weaponized. The lesson here is brutal. The structures you trust, religion, education, governance, can be tools of control if wielded by those who understand the mind's deepest vulnerabilities. The question you must ask yourself now is simple: who controls the masters? Because understanding Sterling's origin is only the beginning of unraveling the web. The question, who controls the masters, is not just philosophical, it's the key to unlocking the modern world's deepest secret. By the mid-20th century, the Black Sigil's descendants had embedded themselves within global finance, intelligence agencies, and religious hierarchies. Sterling Seminary was their experimental forge, but their reach extended far beyond Vermont's misty hills. Behind closed doors, powerful men orchestrated programs designed to maintain societal control through subtle but pervasive psychological manipulation. The goal was no longer just obedience, it was invisibility, to create a class of leaders and enforcers who operate without question, without moral hesitation, and most importantly, without detection. You see, Sterling taught these men how to wear masks so convincing that even their closest allies doubt their true nature. The rituals refined not just compliance but duplicity, the ability to live two lives, one public and one hidden, both equally real. This duality is the engine driving institutions today. CEOs who smile in boardrooms while making decisions that fracture communities, politicians who speak of liberty while crafting laws that tighten invisible chains, media figures who broadcast truth and lies simultaneously, confusing the public until apathy sets in. And here's the cruelest twist. Many of these men don't know they're puppets. They believe they are the masters. The Black Sigil's greatest achievement is the creation of self-policing agents, men who enforce the system that enslaves them, out of conviction, ambition, or sheer habit. But every system has vulnerabilities. Behind the facade of control lies a fragile network of fear and silence. Break one link, and the entire chain trembles. And that's where you come in. Because knowledge is the first crack in the armor. The moment you understand these hidden forces, you begin to see their reflections everywhere. In yourself, in others, in the world around you. You begin to question, and questioning is the most dangerous act of all. Questioning is dangerous because it disrupts the most carefully constructed illusions. The illusion of choice, the illusion of freedom, the illusion that you are the master of your own mind. Sterling Seminary and the Black Sigil taught their disciples to keep men docile by feeding them false dualities: good versus evil, right versus wrong, us versus them. These binaries fracture the mind's ability to hold complexity, forcing decisions based on fear, loyalty, or indoctrination rather than truth. But real power lies beyond duality, in the gray zones where contradictions coexist, and the mind must navigate uncertainty without collapsing. Have you noticed how the media and political systems thrive on division? how they weaponize outrage and pit you against your neighbor. This is not accidental, it is programmed. By keeping society fractured, the system ensures that you remain reactive, distracted, and controlled. The men trained at Sterling became experts in this art of division. They learned to wield narrative like a blade, slicing reality into manageable pieces, pieces that fit their agenda. And now, you see their handiwork everywhere. In corporate boardrooms, in social media echo chambers, in the polarized debates tearing communities apart. But here is the secret they hope you never discover. Division is their weakness. Because the truth is a singular thread that connects all contradictions. It is the sound beneath the noise, the pulse beneath the chaos. When you start to hold the tension between opposing ideas without surrendering to either, you break the spell. You move from being a pawn to being a player. But this is no simple transition. It requires courage, the courage to face uncomfortable truths about the systems you've trusted and about yourself. Are you ready to take that step? Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the mastery of it. The men who walked Sterling's halls learned this lesson the hard way. Their conditioning forced them to confront primal terrors, isolation, loss of identity, the void beyond reason. Yet those who survived emerged not broken but forged, ready to carry the weight of unseen chains with stoic resolve. But here's what they didn't teach you. Courage isn't about blind obedience or sacrifice to a cause you don't understand. True courage is the willingness to face your own mind, to question every belief, to dismantle every illusion, and to rebuild your identity on your own terms. This journey is lonely. It demands you tear away comforting lies and stare into the abyss of your own conditioning. But it's also the path to freedom. Because once you see how deeply Sterling's programming has seeped into the fabric of your thoughts, you begin to reclaim your autonomy. You realize that the fears that paralyze you, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of chaos, are not natural. They are echoes of a system designed to keep you compliant. And when you face those fears head-on, you disrupt the cycle. You become a living contradiction to the order they built, a glitch in their carefully coded system. This is the awakening that Sterling's founders feared most. Because a man awake is a man who cannot be controlled. But awakening requires vigilance. The system will fight back, not with chains, but with lies, distractions, and emotional manipulation. It will try to pull you back into the echo chamber. The key is to recognize those attempts as what they are, programming, and resist. You have the power to break the cycle, but it starts here with awareness and continues with relentless will. Relentless will is forged in the crucible of truth, but it must be nourished by community, something Sterling Seminary deliberately destroyed. Isolation was the weapon they wielded to fracture souls, but it is also the greatest vulnerability in their system, because no man can hold the weight of awakening alone. Look around you. The world is full of masks, people playing roles, echoes trapped in their own prisons. The system encourages division, mistrust, and silence to keep you disconnected. But the very act of finding others who see through the veil is revolutionary. When men come together, speak forbidden truths, and share the burden of knowledge, something shifts. The echo chamber begins to crack. The false light flickers. They fear this most, not open rebellion, but collective awakening. That is why so many whistleblowers, truth-seekers, and rebels have been silenced, discredited, or disappeared. But you are not alone. This knowledge has been passed in shadows, in coded messages, and secret gatherings for centuries. And now, in this moment, you are part of that lineage. The moment you acknowledge this story, you join a network of men refusing to be slaves to programming. You take the first step toward reclaiming your mind, your life, and your power. But beware, the system watches closely. It senses cracks in its foundation and will try to seal them with fear and confusion. Your courage and your connections are your greatest defenses. Hold fast to them, because the war for your mind is far from over. The war for your mind is silent, but it is brutal. It is fought not with guns or tanks, but with whispers and shadows. Every day, invisible forces push and pull at your attention, your beliefs, your fears. Algorithms tailor what you see, hear, and think, curating an endless stream of content designed to distract, divide, and dilute your awareness. Sterling's legacy lives in these digital cages. The programming that once shattered boys beneath stone chapels now fractures entire societies through glowing screens. Consider this: your very habits, the endless scrolling, the reactive outrage, the craving for distraction are symptoms of a system built to keep you compliant. But the story doesn't end here. You have a choice to resist, to pull away from the noise and reclaim your focus, to refuse the programming and seek your own truth. This resistance is not easy. It means confronting uncomfortable realities about the world and yourself. It means standing apart from the herd and risking isolation. But isolation, as we've learned, is the system's weapon, and so is your strength. By mastering your attention, you build a fortress in the chaos. By reclaiming your focus, you dismantle their control, one thought at a time. Remember, they depend on your silence and submission. Break that silence, speak your truth, and forge your own path out of the echo chamber. Because the greatest power you have is your mind. Once you decide it belongs to no one but you,